Good morning, boys and girls. So yesterday we had talked about the different parts of a plant and we had watched our Magic School Bus video. So today, to get started, I want you to turn to your partner and you guys are going to talk about how a plant, like our lovely flower here, is similar to a person. So I'll give you guys a few minutes to get that started. Okay, so how about this table right here? What do you guys think? Are we similar to plants? Okay, we need food to grow, so that's a similarity. What else? Okay, we also need water, and we know that plants get their water from down here. Anything else? Okay, so plants use sunlight. Now, do we need sunlight to grow or to live? Okay, some of us might say yes. I would say some of us would need some sunlight, or maybe, I prefer sunlight. I don't know about you guys. I don't like the cold. So yeah, we do have some similarities to plants. So on your desk, everybody should have the exact same picture that I have, like this, okay? So on one side, we're gonna label, and on the other side, we're gonna write the function of that specific section down. So does anybody know what number 1 is pointing to? What is this part called? We're doing a specific plant right now. Yes, very nice. This is called the flower. Okay, good job. So what does the flower do? What is the function of our flower? Okay, think about in the springtime or a little bit before spring, and we have bees that come and collect stuff and they drop it off. What are they collecting? Does anybody remember that name? It's yellow. Might get on bees' feet. We saw a really good representation yesterday in the video. Okay, so it produces, we're going to put pollen / seeds, because if we're using a different type of plant, so say we were talking about, somebody give me a plant. What plant are we going to be talking about? So we have our flower. What else would we have? Okay, so say we might have some corn, okay? So if we're talking about the corn that's usually growing out of the stalk, it's producing seeds for birds to pick up and be taken somewhere else. If we're talking about a flower, it's going to make pollen right in here, and the bees are going to take it and they're going to distribute it to other flowers, which are going to make more flowers. So we have our flower part, and that's usually the pretty one we see. I prefer, I think yellow flowers would be my favorite. How about you turn to your partner really quick and tell them what your favorite color of flower is. Nice job. Okay, so number 2, it is pointing to this. We're just going to focus on this section right here. So what is this? Good job. This is the stem. Okay? That is going to be the stem. So our stem is going to do something. What does our stem do? And remember, you should be filling out your paper that looks just like mine. Okay? So at number 1, we have flower. And the function we have produces pollen / seeds. Number 2, we should have stem. And what's the function of our stem? What does the stem do? Kind of think of like our legs. What does our legs do? Okay, our legs, we walk on our legs. We're going to describe this as supports the flower. Now, what does supports mean? When I think of my legs support me. So what are my legs doing? Okay, they help me stand. Yeah, so this is going to make sure the flower isn't flying all over the place. Now, if you look at a stem, are stems usually kind of flimsy, or are they a little bit harder. Yeah, they're going to be harder. They're going to be, think of big and strong. Think of like a celery, well, we're going to get down there at some point for a stalk, but think of big, strong, holds the flower up, supports the top of the flower. Nice job. So now we should have 4 different things filled out on your paper. I'm going to walk around and check really quick. So number 1 should be flower. That's what we're talking about today. It might be, when you do this on your own during your plant dissection, it might be something else. Or you might want to call it by its actual name. Okay, so we move down and we're pointing at these things. They're usually green. The leaf, yes. These are the leaves. And what do the leaves do? These are really important to a flower. Really, really important. So the picture, one of the pictures they showed yesterday in Magic School Bus was they were in a leaf and the leaf was making something. What does the leaf make for the plant? What does the leaf make? Makes the food. Good job. Now, when you get older, you're going to learn about how it makes the food and where the food comes from and all that. But right now, we just want to know that the leaf makes the food. Okay? Super important to know. So I'm going to give you a minute to write that down. Yep, leaf makes the food. All right. So now we're getting down closer. And these two are kind of going to be similar, the same thing. You might see them switched every once in a while. So what we're going to do is, because if on your test you got these two mixed up, I'd totally be okay with that. Because they start with S. They do the same thing for the most part. So we're going to make sure we know that it could be called the stem or the stalk. Okay? So now we're going to label it this part. So this part, we're now getting closer into the roots. Oh, I just gave you the next answer, but we'll get there in a second. So what is the function? Now again, I should see writing as I'm writing. What is the function of our stalk/stem? Okay, so I hear a lot of people saying supports. Yes, this is the main support. So what I want you guys to think, and this is kind of how I started your discussion today. So if you think about it, you have your legs, and we're going to look at our legs as kind of down here. They are the main support, okay? They're what keeps us upright. But if you move up to number 2, that's going to be kind of your torso area because, that also helps you sit upright and, not wobble around. So that's how we're going to look at those two, okay? So, yes, I did give you the answer to number 5. That was my bad. So number 5 is the roots, and they have some very important jobs. And we're going to list 2 for them, okay? So what's one thing the roots do? Okay, so I heard holds the plant in place. Okay. And while you guys are writing that down, I want you to think of another job that the roots might do that might be really, really important. What's something else that they could do? When you are done writing, I want you to raise your right hand if you know the answer and would like to share. And when you're done writing, if you know the answer but don't want to share, I want you to raise your left hand. Okay? I see some hands up. I'm going to wait till everybody's hands up. Okay. What did this table come up with? I heard it, yes. This, we're going to put gets water to the plant. It does, because if you think about being in a garden and you water, we have pretty much this line right here is going to be like a layer of soil. And sometimes it even is a little higher. And if we're on that soil and you're watering down here, water gets down in here, well, the roots are going to take it and they're going to travel it all the way up into the leaves to help make the food. And then they're going to just keep going. It's going to give the whole plant a good amount of water. So yes, our roots hold the plant in place. It's like an anchor. Think of like an anchor. It anchors it down, and then it gets water to the rest of the plant. So for the next 20 seconds, I want you guys to stand up, turn to somebody that is not at your table, but I don't want you shouting across the room, and you're going to say something that you learned that was new today. Go. Okay, so I heard a lot about the function of the roots, what the root's job is. Okay. Oh, and I hear a lot of people saying what the flower's job was. It's not just to stand there and look pretty. It actually has a job to make pollen and seeds so that it can make more. Very nice. So your next task is going to be, you're going to get with your partner and you are going to get a worksheet. It's going to look somewhat similar to the one we just filled out, but it's going to be a different plant. Okay, and then you're going to have your word big in the bottom. So you'll cut out the bottom half. You'll cut out the small squares and you'll glue them and paste them to where they're supposed to go. Okay, so again, I'm going to leave this up on the board. I'm going to come around and collect your notes that you took just to make sure that we're all caught up. Actually, no, I'm going to come and just check off that you did the notes. That way you can keep them, you can use them for your assignment, and you can use them to study for your quiz later on today. So when I say the magic word, what's the magic word for the week? There it was, plants. When I say the magic word plants, you're going to start working with your partner on the worksheet that should be underneath your notes page for the day. Ready? 3, 2, 1, plants.